Now we are at the topic of business combinations. So you call it business combination. Then you have a separate Indian accounting standard which is 103, which is on business combinations. And business combinations would mean uh, everything of corporate restructuring. Uh, so our focus in this session is to understand as to which are the different forms of business combinations and why the business combinations are done and when the business combinations are done. So what are the necessary prerequisites for corporate restructuring? So देखिए ये जो business combination है और corporate restructuring है, now these are the terms which can be used interchangeably. तो why should somebody get into business combination? Somebody would like to answer this to me. Why should a business get into business combinations? Anyone?
To scale up its business operations.
To scale up business operations, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
To diversify its business to another areas.
To another areas, okay.
And the demerger first to focus on the core competencies as you told, sir.
Core competencies, yes, of course. Yes, very good.
For
Very good.
synergy gains.
For synergy gains, okay. Very good, friend. Now, let's understand it this way that purpose of any business across the globe is to create value. And this is what we need to remember as business valuation professional. That the purpose of any business across the globe is to create value. Now, what is the meaning of creating value? Meaning of creating value is to do the things so as to make life of people on this earth better than what it was yesterday. Somebody's microphone needs to be muted please. So what is value creation? Value creation is to make life of the people on this earth better today than what it was yesterday. That is value creation. And how do you do value creation? You do value creation by converting the natural resources and the national resources into a product or into a service. Why you want to convert the natural resources or national resources into a product or into a service? Because by converting them into a product or into a service, you are going to make living of the people easier on this earth. I'm sure all of you would understand this. All the businessmen, they are driven by this urge to create value. They are driven by this urge to make this world a better place to live. And that is the purpose of a business. And in this urge, the businessmen across the globe are always looking for opportunities as to how they can create more value. So one way of creating more value is to start a new business, a new company, new organization, create new facilities. That is one way of doing it, and which is done across the globe by all the businesses. So we keep on seeing companies setting up new plants. मारुति एक नया प्लांट डालती है, होंडा नया प्लांट डालती है, बजाज ऑटो नया प्लांट डालते हैं, हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर थ्रू देयर network keep on expanding their facilities. So that is organic growth. There's another opportunity which is available to all these businessmen, and that is inorganic growth. And what is inorganic growth? Organic growth is to grow from within. Inorganic growth is to grow from outside. सो ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ करने के लिए आपको अपने ऑपरेशंस को एक्सपेंड करना पड़ता है, डाइवर्सिफिकेशन करना पड़ता है और मॉडर्नाइजेशन करना पड़ता है, डी बॉटल लेकिंग करनी पड़ती है, एक्सपेंशन करना पड़ता है, न्यू फैसिलिटीज़ क्रिएट करनी पड़ती हैं एज पार्ट ऑफ द ऑर्गेनिक ग्रोथ. As part of the inorganic growth, you have companies available, running companies available, or companies which are closed but have the potential of being a running company available. You acquire them. And why do you acquire them? You acquire them because through acquisition of such business entities, your gestation period is minimal. That means today you acquire a company, it becomes part of your group, and the very next day your capacity is increased by that much capacity. And you have so many advantages. Synergy is one of the advantages that you have. So this is what we need to remember when it comes to business combination, as to why do businesses resort to business combinations. Businesses resort to business combinations because of many benefits, and one of the major benefit is the least gestation period. Besides, of course, the synergy, and synergy can come in the form of many things. It can come in the form of economies of scale. It can come in the form of expansion of distribution network. It can come in the form of available of technology. It can come in the form of access to new markets and things like that. Now the question is, what are the prerequisites for resorting to business combination? So the first is surplus cash. Obviously, so in case if a company wishes to go for business combination, that means अगर कोई कंपनी दूसरी कंपनी को एक्वायर करना चाहती है, तो पहली बात तो उसके पास में कैश होना चाहिए. So there has to be surplus cash. So most of the IT companies, whether it is Infosys or it is Wipro or it is Satyam or Tech Mahindra or it is TCS. Now all these companies, all these IT companies in past 15, 10, 20 years have done a lot of acquisition. And how they have been able to do those acquisitions? They have been able to do those acquisitions because of very good profitability of these companies. These companies always had a lot of surplus money, and they could use that surplus money for business combinations. And number two is ambition of the leader. So for business combination, the group head or the owner of the group or the head of the group must have that ambition. For example, we have ArcelorMittal is one group that we know, which is predominantly a $100 billion group across the globe, steel major and mining major, leader in this thing in mining and steel. Now, so here the leader had the ambition of becoming a leader in mining and steel industry, and that's how he went on acquiring companies across the globe, and he has become so primarily through the acquisitions. So that's ambition of the leader. And number three is ability to leverage. So what is ability to leverage? That means if I as a company decide to acquire another company, remember I cannot do it just because everybody else is doing. If I have to do it, then I have to ensure that I have got something to add from my side. I have something to leverage from my side, and that can be anything. It can be my managerial competency, it can be my technology, it can be my expertise in turning the companies around, and so on and so forth. So these are the prerequisites. And then of course the fourth one is EVA enhancement. And remember, as I discussed earlier, what is EVA? EVA is return on capital employed minus cost of capital employed, and that is EVA, economic value added. And a lot of times the reason behind business combination is EVA, because एक कंपनी है, बंद पड़ रही है या बंद पड़ चुकी है या बंद पड़ने के कगार पर है. So obviously this company's valuation will be quite low because if you do the SWOT analysis of this company, there are hardly any strength. The company has got only weaknesses, and plus the company has got more threats and less opportunities. So really speaking, this company is going to be a low value company. Now this low value company can be acquired by somebody who has got the expertise in turning the companies around. Now with his expertise, he is able to bring this company alive, and that means increase value of this company. So when he is able to increase value of this company, automatically the economic value of the consolidated business increases, and that is another prerequisite for business combinations. So, what are the different forms of business combination? And there are many. Number one, which is referred as merger as amalgamation. So, what you have a merger and amalgamation is fusion of two or more companies. So, there was a company called Brook Bond India Limited, and there was a company called Lipton India Limited once upon a time. I'm sure some of you would remember these two companies, and both these companies merged together, and a new company came into existence, and that name of that company was Brook Bond India Lipton Limited. So this is an example of amalgamation. So two companies are getting amalgamated, and a new entity is coming into existence, and that is referred as Brook. That company is known as Brook Bond Lipton India Limited. So this is an example of merger as amalgamation. Then you can have merger as absorption. Merger as absorption. So example that I can give you is, see, once upon a time you had this ICICI Limited, which was the transfer company, and ICICI Limited was the parent company. ICICI Limited was the parent company. It started a bank that was known as ICICI Bank. Subsequently, the ICICI Limited, the parent company, was absorbed by the subsidiary company, and so ICICI Limited got merged into ICICI Bank, and now what you have is only ICICI Bank. Now this is an example of merger as absorption. So one company is getting absorbed into another company, so that's merger by absorption. Then you can have merger as consolidation. So now what is merger as consolidation? So you had a company called Hindustan Computers, and you had another company called Hindustan Reprographics, and you had third company called Hindustan Telecom, and you had one more company called Hindustan Computers Limited, Indian Computers Limited. So there were four companies, four different companies, and all these companies at one time got merged into a new company, and that is known as today HCL Limited, Hindustan Computers Limited. So that is merger as consolidation. So when जब कोई ग्रुप चाहता है कि बहुत सारी कंपनियां हैं, इतनी कंपनियों को मैनेज करना मुश्किल होता है, so why not to put them under one umbrella? And see, this is what really very interesting, that you got both kind of stories happening in the corporate world. You have groups who are who are consolidating many companies into one company, and you also have groups who are demerging one company into many companies. So, but this is how the strategy works in the corporate world. So this is merger as consolidation. And then you have types of takeover. So takeover can be friendly takeover or it can be hostile takeover. So how do you differentiate between the hostile takeover and the friendly takeover? As the name suggests, friendly takeover is a negotiated one. So the target company and the acquirer, they come together, they discuss together, enter into MOU, and based on the MOU execute the transaction, and the target company is transferred to the acquirer company, and this is a friendly takeover. Then you also have hostile takeover. So hostile takeover is when the target company is not willing to change its management and go into the fold of somebody else, but the acquirer company is wanting that to happen very strongly. A classic example would be of L&T and Mindtree. So recently, I'm sure about a year back, this saga was going on when L&T wanted to acquire Mindtree, and ultimately, of course, Mindtree was not willing to let go, and L&T was hell-bent on acquiring Mindtree into their fold, and finally they succeeded. Of course, initially it was a hostile takeover, subsequently it became a friendly takeover, because finally what was done was with the consent of both the parties together. So that's your example of a friendly to hostile takeover turning into friendly takeover. Once upon a time, I think I'm sure some of you would remember, in 90s there was a gentleman called Swaraj Paul. Swaraj Paul was Indian, of course, and he was based in London. And in 90s, Swaraj Paul made a hostile bid at that time to acquire DCM and Escorts. and that was a clear hostile bid. So Swaraj Paul tried to acquire the shares of Escorts and DCM from the share market and take these two companies in his fold. Of course, then the Indian industry all came together. They formed something called as Bombay Club, and they talked about level playing field and so on and so forth. And the government intervened at that time, and then the efforts of Swaraj Paul were thwarted, and the DCM and Escorts today continue where they were. But that's an example of hostile takeover, failed hostile takeover. Then you have disinvestment is a takeover through disinvestment. So you have government of India which had many PSUs, and one of the PSU was VSNL about 20 years back, and the government of India that time thought in terms of disinvestment, because the government of India thought that the core competency of the government is to run the government, run the country, and not to manage the business, and therefore they went on disinvestment whinge, and as a result of that, VSNL, that was part of the government of India, was transferred to Tata. That means the shares of government in VSNL were transferred to the Tata as a group, and then VSNL was acquired taken over by Tatas, and subsequently the name of BSNL was changed to Tata Communications Limited. So the today's Tata Communications Limited that we see in the market is nothing but BSNL of earlier times. And then what you have got the demerger through High Court, now through NCLT. So you have example of Reliance. So these are all examples of business combinations in different forms. So you have Reliance. I'm sure after the said demise of Dhirubhai Ambani, the great Dhirubhai Ambani, who was a true entrepreneur, true pioneer. Both brothers, Anil Ambani and Mukesh Ambani, had their own differences, and somehow they wanted to part ways instead of working together. And as a result of that, the entire Reliance group was broken into different entities. So Reliance Industries was broken into Reliance Refinery, Telecom, Capital, Infrastructure and Textile. So Reliance Industries was broken into five different companies, and that was a demerger. And again, an example of business combination. So what happened in case of this kind of demerger? Now this is different from slump sale. In this kind of demerger, what happens? All the shareholders of the existing company get shares into the demerged entities in the same ratio as they hold shares in the existing company, and that is how it happened about 20 years back. So this is example of post demerger. And then you have a slump sale. So in case of slump sale, in case of demerger, what you do, you carve out a business into a separate company and issue shares in that separate company to all the existing shareholders of the existing company. In case of slump sale, what you do, you don't carve out a business into a separate company. Rather, you sell off a division of yours as lock, stock and barrel to another company, and that is slump sale. So example would be Greaves. Once upon a time has Greaves, as all of you would know, is a company which is predominantly in engine, and it also set up a plant in Baramati for manufacturing a three-wheeler under the brand name Garuda. Unfortunately, though it was a forward integration for them, but this forward integration did not succeed with Greaves, and they were making losses. And they realized that if this division kept on making losses, then a situation will come that existing operations of Greaves will also need to be closed down. So they sold this company, lock, stock and barrel, as slump sale to a new entity called Piaggio, which was a joint venture between Piaggio and Greaves, Piaggio Greaves Vehicles Limited. So it was sold to them as a slump sale. So these are the examples. Now, what are the types of business combinations? So the types of business combinations can be horizontal. So the Idea Vodafone merger is an example of horizontal merger, because both the companies are into the same product line, and that is why it is known as horizontal merger. Then it can be vertical, which is merger of a customer and supplier or supplier and customer. It can be concentric, which means जो भी आपका product है उससे related कोई company अगर आप acquire करते हैं, it is referred as concentric merger or amalgamation. Conglomerate, so merger of unrelated companies is an example of conglomerate. Forward integration, when you are acquiring, when you are getting into manufacturing, or when you are acquiring a company who is your customer, so that is an example of forward integration. Backward integration, so when you are acquiring a company which is your supplier, so this is an example of backward integration. Merger of subsidiary, of course we all know. Reverse merger, that means where a profit making company is merging into a loss making company, is an example of reverse merger. And I'm sure a question may come to your mind as to why should a profit making company merge into a loss making company, and that is for the income tax reasons, because I think section 72 of the Income Tax Act requires, or as per the provisions of the Income Tax Act, if the losses of a loss making company need to be carried forward, then that loss making company need to be in existence, because if the company's existence is finished, then the losses of that company also are over. So therefore what companies resort to, they resort to reverse merger. So what they do in case of reverse merger, a loss making company continues to exist, a profit making company merges into a loss making company. Since a profit making company is merging into a loss making company, the losses of the loss making company continue to exist, and therefore these losses can be very easily set off against the combined profit, against the profit of the combined entity, and that is your reverse merger. So friends, this is all I thought I would speak about on the business combination. So in case if you have any question, you can please ask me, else we will move to the next topic. Any question please?
Sir, what was the third in